Hey, let's talk about the often unspoken thing that goes on post-divorce, the vanishing friend act. Why do friends ghost you when you need them the most? Uncover the harsh truth of social circles post-divorce. Let's get the bad news out of the way. Your new reality of divorce will cause you to lose some friends. It's just true. Some quickly, some slowly, but your friend groups will change and you will be hurt by the losses. The seismic shift of divorce ripples into a lot of corners of our lives, and our friendships are just one of them. But some good news. Want to know who your real friends are? Go through hell and see who comes with you. Proverbs 18:24 reminds us that a good friend sticks closer than a brother. Proverbs 17:17 says that a real friend loves at all times. Divorce is painful on many fronts, but one is often unspoken. When we are trying to navigate one of the worst events in our lives, when we need our friends, many start falling away. Sometimes it's due to logistics. You had to move, you had to switch jobs, you had to pull your kid from a certain school. You had to switch your churches, or you left town, or your financial situation just doesn't afford you the same lifestyle that you once had when you were married and as your friends do. So many various reasons. Our routines change. Places, thus people, become awkward or even painful for us. And with the change in rhythm comes changes in our ability to engage with our friends and our friend groups. But sometimes we lose friends because people took sides. Sometimes it's because they didn't take a side. They made no choice. Therefore, they made a choice. And sometimes you are friends with a couple and not an individual. And that friendship is much more complex. But when it comes to friends lost with a divorce, let's start with the main one. Often our spouse is not just our spouse, but our lover, our very best friend, the person we made decisions during pillow talk. When you hold hands with somebody while you're driving on a road trip and you're talking about all your goals in life and your dreams, the person that you share coffee with in the morning and you start your day together. The dissolving of a marriage union kills this life partner relationship, and that loss hurts. Over time, after a divorce, some level of friendliness can be achieved. But most of us Christians don't really get out of a marriage and divorce due to mutual annulment. Most of ours are through tragedy. So you not only lose just your husband or wife, but you lose your best friend. It's a shocker. And for those of you who your spouse was cheating with your best friend, now you've lost two. And those are painful losses and brutal betrayals. I can't even imagine, to be honest. But losing our best friend and life partner is a sad reality for most of us who've unyoked. And filling that hole overnight is just not possible. And the attempts to date and to replace this person is sometimes, frankly, it's just exhausting. But let's dig in here first. Our friend groups. Friendships go by the wayside after a divorce for really two main reasons: fear and grief. Now, fear is a driving factor. Your friends fear the unknown. They don't know how to proceed. Many friends don't know how to support someone who is going through, a divorce, an unyoking. Instead of communicating with you, they may just disappear from your life because they don't want to do the wrong thing and end up maybe making situations even worse than they are. A divorce can be especially agonizing for your friends if they were also friends with your spouse. They don't want to choose sides. So often they decide not to choose either side. Or maybe they do choose a side and it's not yours. It is possible that your friend may think that you treated the spouse badly and you were in the wrong about a marital matter. In these cases, they may be siding with your ex-spouse. It's also possible that you may lose friends because they were friends in your spouse's network in the first place. When the dust settles, it becomes obvious who fell away and what decisions were made by your friends. Let's talk a little bit about those couples and couple friendship dynamics. They can be much more complex. Your married or coupled friends lost a friend too. Their friend was your marriage. It broke, and they don't know how to navigate this. Sometimes it's just because they can't relate. They can't see past their world, their worldview, and the relationships that they create for themselves. Sometimes it puts them in a really awkward situation of choosing sides or moving the friendship to having the woman be friends with the woman and the man being friends with the man. And that really can get complex and very awkward into a bunch of he said, she said, and they just don't want to navigate it. Although I do know a couple of women who are the plus ones in couple groups, for dinners, pool parties, and vacations. It's just not so much on the men's side. But all right, ladies, let's talk about this. Some of you may face challenges in maintaining your couple friendships due to societal perceptions and fears around your newfound single status. The shift in perception from being a part of a couple, which is really considered off limits and non-threatening, to now being a single, which can sometimes lead to perceived threats to relationship of their marriage. There's a term for this. It's called partner poaching. It's used to describe the fear that some individuals have of their partners being attracted to or even pursued by a newly single friend. While this fear sort of feels juvenile, it's way more common than you might expect. And it might explain why you've had some couple friends go silent. They may not word it that way. On a side note, what have I learned from being divorced and now single? So when I run into a friend or a couple navigating divorce, I now try to offer true friendship and support the one that's trying to navigate this event kindly and wisely and who's owning their part of the mess. Not just I want to be available to the person who may be in a hot mess situation, but I do let those who are sort of justifying and quitting on their families really go their own way. Maybe take the prodigal son approach. That story in the Bible, the dad didn't go out to find his son, but he was looking for his return, standing there waiting for that repentance. So though I may reach out and though I may love on and not judge and push them away, I do let people go their own way. And when they're ready to say, I messed up, I'm there for them, whether to help them maybe restore their marriage or at the very least deal with their guilt and their healing and love on them. I don't want to scarlet letter someone just because they walked away from a marriage and I thought, well, they've run that and, sucks to be you and I don't want to be a part of your life. I just don't see it that way anymore. I certainly did before. If you like this content, then subscribe for even more resources, fun, laughter, and sound advice for Christians adventuring in unyoked living. Not just divorce recovery, but for brave men and women who are growing and going and living a life on mission. Blessings.